Imagine waking up every day with an obstacle you can't control, an unfairness that hits you right in the face. Some of us face this from the moment we're born, and others see it in the middle of what seemed like a perfect life. Life is not fair, never has been, never will be. But here's the truth. What if I told you that the unfairness is the very thing that gives you the power to transform your life? What if I told you that the greatest strength is not in how fair life is, but in how you respond to the unfairness it throws your way? You might feel like life has stacked the odds against you, but it's your response that can turn the tables. This speech is not for the faint-hearted. It's for those of you who have been knocked down, for those of you who feel like life has handed you a raw deal. This speech is for anyone who's ever wondered, why me? I want you to listen closely, because by the end of this, you'll have a new reason to keep going, a new reason to rise. Life is not a fair game, no matter who we are, where we come from, or what we want out of life. We all face unfairness. It's easy to look at others and feel like they have it better, or that we've been given a raw deal. We see people who seem to sail through life, achieving everything with ease, and wonder why we're struggling, why life doesn't seem to be working in our favor. Whether it's an illness we can't control, a financial burden that seems impossible to escape, or an opportunity that slipped through our fingers, we've all felt the sting of life's inherent unfairness. But here's the kicker. Just because life is unfair doesn't mean it's the end of the road. It's in these very moments of unfairness that we are given the chance to define who we truly are. Adversity isn't a punishment, it's an invitation. It's a call to push ourselves beyond our perceived limits, to prove to ourselves that we are stronger than the circumstances we face. Unfairness, as harsh as it may seem, is part of the human experience. No one is immune to it. No matter how much we try to control our environment or our circumstances, life has a way of throwing curveballs. Whether it's a setback at work, the loss of a loved one, or the crushing weight of unexpected financial difficulty, these moments test our character. They push us to ask questions like, why me, why this? And it's in that space between the moment of pain and the possibility of growth that we can choose how to react. But here's the real truth. Unfairness is often the catalyst for growth. It forces us to confront parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore. It exposes our weaknesses, but it also uncovers our strength. The key is in how we respond to the unfairness. Do we let it define us, or do we use it to fuel our progress? Some of the world's most remarkable people have faced the deepest injustices. Yet, rather than being broken by them, they became stronger, more determined, and ultimately successful. Think about the countless individuals who have come from nothing, those who were told they wouldn't make it, that they weren't good enough. Life threw them down time and time again, but they didn't stay down. They fought through it. They used their pain, their setbacks, and their unfair challenges as motivation to do better, to be better, to achieve what others said they could not. The difference between them and those who gave up was that they didn't let the unfairness of life break them. Instead, they embraced it as a part of their journey. The harsh truth is that life may never be fair. We might never have all the advantages others have, and we might always face unique challenges that others can't understand. But this doesn't mean that we are doomed to failure or that our lives are worth any less. It means we have a unique opportunity to rise, to dig deep within ourselves, and to make the most of the hand we've been dealt. The unfairness of life is not a reason to give up. It's the very thing that makes our stories worth telling. How we rise above life's challenges is what ultimately defines us, and that's the power we hold. Resilience is not just about surviving, it's about thriving in the face of adversity. Life doesn't come with guarantees, and sometimes it feels like the harder we try, the more we're pushed back. But resilience isn't built in moments of ease, it's forged in the fires of hardship. When life knocks us down, the choice is ours. We can stay down or we can rise. When faced with challenges, resilience is the inner strength that refuses to let circumstances define us. It's the ability to keep moving forward, even when the road ahead seems insurmountable. Resilience doesn't mean that life stops being difficult. It means that we develop the mental and emotional strength to face difficulties head on, to keep going despite the odds. It's a quality that lies within each of us, waiting to be tapped into. And it is precisely this resilience that gives us the power to transform our lives, even when life seems to be unfair. No one is immune to adversity. We all face moments when life feels like it's working against us. Whether it's an unexpected failure, a devastating loss, or an ongoing struggle that doesn't seem to end, these experiences can feel overwhelming. The challenge is not to avoid these hardships, but to learn how to navigate through them. When life tests us, our resilience is what determines whether we crumble or rise. What makes resilient people different isn't that they don't experience pain or hardship, but that they don't let it stop them. They face adversity, they feel the weight of it, but they don't let it define their story. They find a way to rise above it. This strength to keep moving forward despite life's unfairness is what sets resilient people apart. It's easy to be positive when everything is going well, but true resilience is born in the most difficult moments. It's the willingness to keep moving forward, even when it feels like the world is pushing you back. Resilience isn't about pretending that everything is fine or ignoring the difficulties we face. It's about accepting that life is not always fair and making the decision to press on regardless. It's the inner resolve to keep going even when the odds are stacked against you, and to find the lessons in every setback. Through resilience, we learn that even the most difficult experiences can teach us something valuable, shaping us into stronger, wiser, and more determined individuals. In those moments of hardship, we often have to dig deep to find that resilience. It's not always easy, but it is always possible. The choice to rise above adversity is one of the most powerful choices we can make. Resilience is the reminder that we don't have to let life's unfairness define us. Instead, we can use it as a stepping stone to something greater, to something more meaningful. It's a mindset that says, I am not my circumstances, I am what I choose to become. And in the end, it is this resilience that turns the unfairness of life into our greatest strength. It doesn't matter how many times we fall, it's how we get back up that counts. Resilience is the foundation upon which we build our future, and it is what gives us the courage to face whatever comes next. Life may not always be fair, but resilience is what makes life worth living, and it's what allows us to keep going even when it feels impossible. In a world that often feels out of our control, one thing remains constant: the power we hold in choosing how we respond to life's challenges. While the circumstances we face may not always be in our hands, our reactions to them are. In times of unfairness, it's easy to feel powerless, to blame the world for what happens to us. But in reality, we hold the greatest tool for change, our own mindset. It's not always easy and it's not always immediate, but how we choose to see things and respond is what ultimately shapes the direction of our lives. When life feels unfair, it's natural to feel like we have no control. When we face setbacks, it's easy to feel as if the universe has conspired against us. We might feel like victims of fate, like there's nothing we can do to change our situation. But the reality is that we have more power than we realize. The power lies in how we choose to interpret and respond to these challenges. We may not be able to control the unfairness life hands us, but we can control the way we approach it. When we adopt a mindset of self-determination, we stop seeing ourselves as passive victims and start recognizing ourselves as active agents in our own story. It's about taking responsibility for how we respond rather than focusing on what life has thrown at us. This mindset shift doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine or ignoring our challenges. It means choosing to believe that we have the power to decide how we move forward. It's a conscious decision to stop being at the mercy of external circumstances and to start taking charge of our own path, no matter how unfair life may seem. Self-determination doesn't come from having a perfect life or always being in control of everything around us. It comes from within. It's the belief that we can change the course of our lives by the choices we make, even in the most difficult times. It's about understanding that while life may not always be fair, we have the ability to create meaning from the unfairness. This perspective allows us to see every obstacle as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to move closer to becoming the person we are meant to be. When we stop focusing on what we can't control, we begin to see the possibilities that lie in front of us. Instead of spending energy on complaining about what's unfair, we can channel that energy into taking action. Every setback becomes a lesson, every challenge an opportunity to prove to ourselves just how much strength and resilience we have. It's about realizing that even when life isn't fair, we still have the ability to make decisions that lead us toward a better future. Self-determination is a reminder that no matter the circumstances, we are the authors of our own stories. It's the recognition that we have the power to shape our lives, to create meaning, and to push through the difficult moments with purpose. It's not about pretending that unfairness doesn't exist, but about embracing our ability to make choices that move us forward. In the end, how we choose to respond to life's unfairness is what defines our path and determines our success. The world may not be fair, but we have the power to create our own future regardless of the obstacles in our way. What if the things that seem unfair in life are actually opportunities in disguise? It's a thought that can change everything. While we may not see it at the time, the most difficult moments in our lives often hold the seeds of transformation. When life presents us with unfair challenges, it can feel like a setback, but in reality, these experiences can offer lessons and growth that we would never have encountered otherwise. It's in the midst of hardship that we are given the chance to rise above, to push ourselves further than we ever thought possible. Think about the obstacles that have shaped who you are today. The things you've struggled with, the battles you've fought, chances are these have been some of the most defining moments in your life. When things feel unfair, it's easy to get caught up in the feeling of defeat, to wonder why life is being so cruel. But it's often these very moments that push us to develop strength, resilience, and determination. They force us to ask questions about who we are, what we want, and how far we're willing to go to achieve our goals. When life doesn't go as planned, when everything seems stacked against us, we have a choice. We can see these moments as obstacles, or we can choose to view them as opportunities. Every difficulty holds the potential for growth. It's during the hardest times that we often discover what we are truly capable of. The unfairness we experience can serve as the catalyst for change, as it pushes us to challenge our own limits, to rethink our priorities, and to take risks we might never have considered otherwise. The pain and frustration of life's unfairness can often lead to a shift in perspective. When we're forced to confront the things that don't make sense, we start to look at the world differently. We realize that what we thought was an insurmountable obstacle might be the very thing that teaches us something new or opens doors we didn't even know existed. It's in these moments of discomfort and struggle that we find the courage to step outside our comfort zones, to try something new, or to pursue a dream we'd previously put on hold. Life's unfairness can push us to take risks that lead to great rewards. Whether it's taking a chance on a new career, pursuing an education we thought was out of reach, or simply choosing to persevere when everything feels uncertain, these moments are often what shape our future. They may not feel like opportunities at first, but when we embrace them, we begin to see the potential they hold. Sometimes the unfairness we experience is exactly what we need to force us into a position where growth is possible. Ultimately, the unfairness of life is not something we have to simply endure. It's something we can learn to use to our advantage. Instead of letting it hold us back, we can choose to use it as fuel for our journey forward. The obstacles we face can be the very things that lead us to new opportunities, new achievements, and a deeper understanding of ourselves. Life may not always be fair, but every unfair challenge presents the chance for transformation. By embracing the lessons within these experiences, we allow ourselves the opportunity to rise above and achieve greatness in ways we never thought possible. Gratitude is a powerful tool, especially when life feels unfair. When everything seems to be going wrong, it can be hard to find reasons to be thankful. The unfairness of life often makes us focus on what we don't have, on the things we've lost or missed out on. However, shifting our focus to what we do have can change everything. Gratitude has the ability to transform our perspective and help us find peace, even in the midst of chaos. It's a reminder that despite the challenges we face, there are still things to be thankful for: small victories, relationships, moments of beauty, and experiences that bring joy. When life doesn't seem fair, gratitude can help us regain control of our emotions and mindset. Instead of feeling helpless or bitter, we can choose to acknowledge the positives in our lives. It doesn't mean ignoring the unfairness or pretending that everything is okay, but rather recognizing that even in the worst of times, there are blessings to be found. Gratitude is the practice of training our minds to focus on the good, on the things that lift us up rather than drag us down. It's a shift in perspective that empowers us to take action, to keep moving forward, and to find strength in the small things that make life meaningful. When we practice gratitude, we're not just acknowledging the positive aspects of our lives, we're also acknowledging our own resilience. It's easy to overlook how far we've come, especially when we're focused on what's going wrong. But when we stop and take stock of everything we've overcome, we realize that we've already weathered countless storms. Gratitude helps us see how much we've achieved despite the difficulties we face. It reminds us of our strength and of our ability to handle whatever comes our way. Focusing on gratitude also helps us keep a sense of perspective. It's easy to get caught up in the unfairness of a situation, to feel like everything is going wrong. But when we take a step back and reflect on the things that are going well, we begin to see that the unfairness is only one part of the story. Life is made up of countless moments, and while some may be challenging, there are always others that bring joy, comfort, and fulfillment. By embracing gratitude, we're able to keep these moments in focus and not allow the unfairness to overshadow everything else. Gratitude can also bring us closer to others. In times of hardship, it's easy to become isolated, to retreat into ourselves and forget about the people who care about us. But practicing gratitude allows us to connect with those around us, to acknowledge the love, support, and kindness we receive. It opens our hearts to the people who help us, who stand by us, and who remind us that we're not alone. This sense of connection can be a powerful antidote to the loneliness and frustration that can come with unfairness. In the end, gratitude is a choice. It's not always easy and it's not always immediate, but when we make the decision to focus on what we have instead of what we lack, we shift our energy from frustration to appreciation. This shift doesn't make life fair, but it allows us to find peace and purpose in the midst of the unfairness. Gratitude doesn't deny the challenges we face. It helps us find meaning and strength in them, and it gives us the ability to keep going even when the road is tough. Embracing life's unfairness is not about accepting defeat. It's about using that unfairness as a source of motivation. When we encounter struggles, it's easy to feel like giving up is the only option. Life often presents challenges that seem insurmountable, making us question why we should continue. But in these very moments, we have the opportunity to make a choice, to rise above the adversity or to allow it to consume us. Instead of seeing the unfairness as an obstacle, we can choose to view it as fuel that drives us forward. Every unfair challenge becomes an invitation to take action, to push beyond our limits, and to prove to ourselves that we are capable of more than we thought. The unfairness of life can often make us feel powerless, but it is in these moments that we discover our true strength. It's easy to feel like a victim when things don't go our way, but by embracing the challenge, we reclaim our power. We may not have control over what life hands us, but we always have control over how we respond. When we choose to face adversity head-on, we begin to unlock a deeper well of resilience and determination. Life's unfairness can either defeat us or empower us. How we choose to view it determines which path we take. Each setback, each unfair moment in our lives presents an opportunity for growth. It's in these moments of struggle that we learn the most about who we are and what we're capable of. Adversity forces us to confront our fears, our weaknesses, and our limitations, but it also gives us the chance to overcome them. The challenges we face are not just barriers, they are stepping stones on our journey toward growth and self-improvement. When we choose to embrace life's unfairness, we open ourselves to the possibility of becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable than we were before. The unfairness of life often drives us to question our purpose. Why are we going through this? What's the point of facing these struggles? But in reality, it's through overcoming life's injustices that we begin to define our purpose. The hardships we endure often lead us to new paths, new goals, and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. It's through the struggle that we find the motivation to push forward, to pursue our dreams with more passion and determination. Life may not always be fair, but it's in these moments of unfairness that we find the clarity and focus to make our purpose a reality. We often look at successful people and think that they've had an easy path, that life has been fair to them. But in truth, many of the most successful people have faced the greatest struggles. They have been knocked down, faced immense challenges, and experienced moments of deep unfairness. What set them apart wasn't their lack of adversity, it was their ability to keep moving forward despite it. They didn't let the unfairness of life stop them, they used it to fuel their drive. This is the choice we all have when faced with life's challenges. We can either let them define us in a negative way, or we can use them as stepping stones to create something greater. In the end, the unfairness of life doesn't have to hold us back. Instead, it can be the very thing that propels us forward. By choosing to embrace the challenges we face, we take control of our own destiny. Each unfair situation offers us a chance to rise above, to become stronger, and to create something meaningful from the struggle. The choice is ours. Will we let the unfairness of life defeat us, or will we use it as a motivation to move forward, to achieve more, and to inspire others along the way? Life may not be fair, but in the face of that unfairness, we have the power to choose how we respond. And that's what makes all the difference.